Well, all is not well in the world of diplomacy right now, clearly. Let's bring in for more analysis of the situation Yves Doutriaux, who's a former deputy spokesperson of the French Foreign Ministry, former deputy permanent representative of France at the United Nations, and also professor of geopolitics at Paris Dauphine. Yves, thank you very much for being with us. Great to see you. The headline was talking about the White House saying a phone call from Biden to Macron will happen soon. Why hasn't it happened already? Because surely, given the context with the AUKUS deal, given what's happened with the submarine deal, there are words to be had between these two leaders.
It's clear we are allies. We are supposed to be allies for the last more than 2 centuries. And it's clear for my country, for the French government, not to speak about the French workers. Even the French
some 600 submarine workers in Cherbourg could face losing their jobs.
And expatriates, French expatriates, which are already now in Australia, even some Australian expatriates who are working now in Cherbourg, it's very unique. And we don't do that between allies. And that is coming just at a moment where, with a new US administration, we were expecting something different from the Trump administration. So here we have been very surprised. And we understand, as you just said, that there will be a phone call, but a phone call cannot repair such a blow on this important strategic agreement between France and Australia. And behind the scene, you have the interest of France for this region, named Indo-Pacific region, where we have nearly 2 million French people living in this area, through in New Caledonia, French Polynesia. And it's one of the reasons why we have set up this close relationship with a country in the region, such as Australia. So the contract on submarine has to be taken against the background of Indo-Pacific and the will of France and of Europe as well to be more present in a region which could be a region of tension. Now, regarding relations with China, we don't have exactly the same, I would say, background as US versus China. That's not specific to Mr. Biden. Mr. Trump and Mr. Obama before had the same view about China. We in Europe, we don't see China in such an offensive way, if I may say so. And we could play a special role against that background, including in Indo-Pacific region.
Now, Joe Biden, in his speech to the United Nations, was talking about relentless diplomacy rather than relentless war. However, if you study what he says and what he does, am I right in kind of concluding there appears to be little difference between the Trump administration and the current Biden administration, the way that things are being done? I'm thinking of obviously the submarine deal and the way that deal was concluded and the way France was stabbed in the back, to quote Yves Doutriaux, but also about the way that Haitian migrants are being treated on the border between Texas and Mexico. It just seems like something out of the Donald Trump playbook.
Yes, but regarding international relations, there is a big change with Biden. If you have a look on climate change, just an example, or that could be discussed this week in New York about the Iran nuclear deal. On these two topics, we Europeans, we French, we are very close to the Biden administration. So you see, it's difficult to have a definitive view about Biden administration. And we were welcoming the speech like America is back. If America is back to support this kind of multilateral deals such as Paris Agreement and climate change and Iran nuclear deal, that's good news to be now concretized in Glasgow for the next COP 20-something. 26, thank you, in Scotland. And about Iran, we are still expecting a breakthrough in a painful discussion with Iran after the last Iranian presidential elections. So that doesn't mean that it's not possible to work with the US of the Biden administration. But to say the truth, many French, not only the French government, consider that it was a bad coup in a friendship between the two countries.
I think people have just been shocked by it.
Yes, exactly. And beside that, what is interesting to have a look on European Union. Perhaps it's another incentive for Europeans, some of them are a little bit shy in that regard, to be more autonomous when they are considering the word together in order to react to the challenge of the world. And we are working, that's traditional French position, to work for more European foreign policy, European defense and security policy. And some of our European colleagues are rather reluctant because they believe first in NATO umbrella. And this kind of events, together with what happened in Kabul at the end of August, could contribute to a better understanding on the French view regarding the necessity for Europeans to be more autonomous in their way to behave in the world and to analyze common challenge and to try to act to better protect the Europeans against this challenge.
Indeed, because the AUKUS row, of course, not just concerns France, but concerns the whole of the EU being completely sidetracked by this deal struck between Australia, the US and the UK. Yves Doutriaux, thank you very much indeed for sharing your analysis with us here at France 24. We really appreciate it. Former Deputy Spokesperson of the French Foreign Ministry, former Deputy Permanent Representative of France at the UN and Professor of Geopolitics at Paris Dauphine. Thank you so very much indeed. Great to see you and thank you very much indeed. We'll have more reaction and analysis of events at the UN General Assembly to come between now and midnight Paris time.